Hi, it's Phineas Silake, the chairperson of Jate Heritage Site Committee by the name of Sekhukhune Tourist Information Center, Sireto Kimarumo. Sekhukhune was. Under Sekhukhune, there was a time of strife and unrest. Over years, he accumulated a large hoard of guns and ammunition. His initial relations with the Boers and missionaries were friendly, and they recognized the Stilpot River as the boundary. Later, tribal warfare, however, did not cease. Two groups of Swazi people fled from the Swazi region and obtained permission to settle in Bopedi. A large Swazi army followed and was crushed by the Pedi. The relations with the missionaries had in the meantime prospered to such an extent that they were allowed to build a station Garatau much near to Jati. As a result of Spukune's friendship with the missionaries and their success in treating the ill and the wounded, the mission made progress beyond expectations. Amongst the important converts was one of Skukune's wives and his half brother, Johannes Dingwanyane. The converts, however, antagonized Sikukune, who realized that his absolute authority was being undermined. He began to impose sanctions on the petty Christians. The situation worsened, and finally Sikukune drove the Christians away. During this time, Merensky was appointed as a representative of South African Republic. He had at first been well received by the chief. Soon afterwards, all belongings of Christians were confiscated. The missionaries were forbidden to do any further work in Bopedi. Finally, on the night of 18 November 1864, the Christian led by Merensky and Johannes Dinkwanyane fled to the south. They bought a farm near Middelburg and started the mission station Buchabelo. Eventually, Johannes left Buchabelo with his followers and settled in the Ladymouth district. Sekhukhune openly recognized him as a petty chief, thus extending his empire beyond the Stilpot River. Relations between the Boers and the petty became more and more strained. On 16 May 1876, the Boers declared war against the petty. They first seized Johannes Dingwanyane's village. In the battle, he was slain. They then advanced on the Sekhukhune stronghold Jati, though the Boers managed to take and raise part of the village. They were unable to dislodge the petty. The Boers retreated and built Fort Weber west of the Lulu Mountains. It later became known as Vredehorst. A second fort was built and named Fort Beggars at the Stilpot River. From these two forts, the Boers continuously harassed the petty. Sekhukhune, realizing that his position had become untenable, sent for Merensky and asked him to mediate with the Republic. Early in February 1877, the two parties met at Botshabelo to discuss peace terms. It was finally declared that the Pedi were to pay 2,000 head of cattle to the Republic, that the Pedi would become subjects of the Republic, and that the land beyond the Steelpot River will be recognized as their location. On 15 February 1877, Sekhukhune signed the treaty. 2 months later, Sir Theophilus Shepstone annexed the Transvaal on behalf of the British Crown. He considered the treaty between the Boers and the Pedi as valid, notified Sekhukhune that the Pedi would be recognized as British subjects, and demanded the payment of the 2,000 head of cattle. Sekhukhune refused this payment. The situation deteriorated, and Captain Clark, who was stationed in Bopedi, started a campaign against the Pedi. After a few minor skirmishes, he sent for more troops. Additional troops under Colonel Rollins were sent but had little success. After the Swazi War, after the Zulu War, General Garnet Wellesley stipulated that Sekhukhune should recognize the British Crown, pay taxes, and permit the erection of a number of forts in Bopedi. He also had to pay the fine of 2,500 head of cattle immediately. When Sekhukhune refused, Wellesley mobilized his task force of a number of regiments, aided by 8,000 Swazi warriors and Mambu's men, a total force of 12,000 men. Wellesley's plan of attack was that while the main column would approach Jati along the valley, the Swazi warriors would descend upon it from the heights, which lay behind it. Under the cover of the first bombardment, 2 assaults were launched, with the attack thus halted. Wellesley and his troops anxiously awaited the delayed arrival of the Swazi army. When it finally appeared, it had a decisive impact. The Pedi regiments were unprepared for an attack from the rear. With the advantage of such a surprise attack, the Swazi swept down the mountainside, while they sustained heavy casualties. They were driving the defenders before them, with the Pedi warriors trapped between the descending Swazi and the advancing British troops. A terrible carnage ensued. By 9:30 a.m., the valley had been cleared and the town Jati was in flames. Thanks for today.